Hi BookTube, and welcome to a new video. This is going to be something slightly different. I'm not a great unhauler of books. Pre-pandemic, I think I took over time a couple of laundry bags filled with books to a charity shop, and then during the pandemic I did a book giveaway, I think for 1,500 subscribers and maybe 1,000, I can't remember, and they were mainly books I'd built up as doubles that I'd been sent by very kind people, but I'd already had, or I did a 1-year subscription membership thing for a bookshop in London where they would send me a book, trying to meet the broad outlines of my taste that I'd sent them ahead of time, and of the 12 they sent me over the year, I'd already read 4 of them, so they were doubles. So I also had that outbreak of mould and mildew in my shed that decimated about 300 books, including a pile on the floor that I was building up to take to the charity shop, so they were wiped out and cold. So as of March 2022, I only have one book to unhaul. It's Asylum by Patrick McGrath. I'll leave the link to my taking apart of this book limb by limb that I did in January after I'd read it. I'll leave the link to that for your amusement. It's one of the most enjoyable videos I've ever made. Anyway, so I'm not going to charity shop with one book, so it just went to the shed with my other books, but I didn't really want it. I sort of wanted it gone from my site, but not just that, I just didn't want to own it, but I wasn't going to go to a charity shop for one book. Lo and behold, I walked up to my supermarket today, first time, because I've been getting online deliveries throughout the pandemic. Can't remember the last time I went to the supermarket, probably 2-3 months ago. Anyway, and I spotted one of those book Nook swap things, which abound in the US, but not so much here in London, but I found one. I didn't have my video camera on me, because I don't have a smartphone. I have a separate video camera, this thing. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go back after making this introduction part of the video, and we'll go take a look, see, and I can obviously put this in the Nook. Now, I have broadly seen what's in there, so full disclosure, I'm going to go into David Attenborough mode for this as a little pastiche, a skit, and that the views on the books do not represent those of me, Mark Nash, or David Attenborough for that matter. They are done for comedy purposes. And I say I'm going all David Attenborough because I feel that it is through the lens of cultural droppings, cultural copra lights like these, that we can get a sense of the anthropology of this particular species of Homo sapiens that reside in the environment of suburban northwest London. So please come and join me as we go and investigate and see how close we can get to this literary watering hole and what delights we can discover. As I approach the watering hole, there's a surprising lack of other wildlife around me. Well, it's 10:30 in the AM, and while the able workers of the hive have gone to their workplaces, and there's this steady stream of wildebeest single occupancy carriages, there's not the surrounding foot traffic that one might presume. Something has spooked them. Now maybe it's this tragic book, Asylum by Patrick McGrath, but would they have got wind of that in the air? I'm not sure. Just as likely, it's my presence here as an experimental and serious literary fiction writer that might have spooked them. Evidence of that is that I am never invited by my local libraries to give a reading or a talk. I probably scare them off. Anyway, I'm just going to put the bait there for now until I am able to give it a primary position for it to be devoured. And in return for me to see what bait and click I can get. I will just say there is a second part of this watering hole for the children, the youngsters, but we will not be considering that today. So let's see what wildlife we have gathered here. Right, so we have Terry Pratchett and Terry Deary, both fantasy elements, creatures that were not confirmed to be actually exist. David Baldacci, who I think is a serious literary writer, not one I've come across before. These, by the covers, look like romantic fiction, so we'll leave them be under their cover. E.L. James, crime fiction. Nora Roberts, Blood Brothers, I haven't heard of Nora Roberts. Kiss Mummy Goodbye by Joy Fielding. Patricia Scanlon, Double Wedding. Now, I've read an author called Scanlon, and she wasn't Patricia, who wrote experimental flash fiction. I don't think they are related by genes. Why Men Don't Listen and Women Can't Read Maps. The Only Wife, Peace Adzo Medi. Not heard of that in the Linnaean classification of species, I must admit. Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella, a very common life form, Sophie Kinsella, not one that I have studied under a microscope. Away by Amy Bloom. Enid Blyton, surely in the wrong part of the watering hole. Maybe a fledgling that is daring to, test its newfound adult skills. Skellig by David Ormond, again not something I'm familiar with from the Linnaean literary classification. Lee Child and Peter May, both crime writers. Sanctus by Simon Toyne, not aware of that species, maybe yet to be discovered by scientists. At the back we have Danielle Steele and Harlan Coben. So already you get the sense this is a very common life sort of panoply on show here at this particular watering hole. Another Lee Child. Now, Kate Atkinson, Life After Life. We have a literary interloper here, but in a pile that includes Danielle Steele. So very much, the apex predator. And Kate Atkinson, Life After Life, must take precautions, I imagine, not to be swallowed up whole by the rest of the pond life here. Jeffrey Deaver, crime fiction, who I have actually encountered in my very early days as a literary anthropologist. A Long Walk Home by Judith Tebbett. What else do we have here? You could tell by the covers and the spines, Robert Ludlum, you could tell the general population of this literary watering hole. Lisa Jewell, then she was gone, and now she's going back. Belinda Bauer and Sarah Pearce are both on Penguin, but I'm not familiar with their oeuvre. And what else? Oh, we almost had a disastrous collapse. James Patterson, who I believe has lots of, he is the King Lion of the Pride, and has all his underlings write his work for him. Clive Cussler, Martina Cole. And finally, down to the bottom level of the pond, we have Isabella Allende, City of the Beast. Now that is heavyweight literary fiction. Again, she's obviously hiding out at the lowest level, burying herself in mud. Mud of two Danielle Steele novels there. Run Riot by Nicholas Schuler. Now, I might actually swap for that. I think that will be my swap for the execrable Asylum, so that will go there. So not in a wasted journey, just Betty and Joan, that is obviously non-fiction. Another Peter May book, but I think you can see from the general population at this literary watering hole, the type of human species that hangs out in this locale. And Mick Harron is a crime fiction writer I've heard about but not read. And I think you get the sense of what my local community's reading tastes amount to, and why perhaps I have never been invited to borough libraries to give a talk. So that's it. Thank you for accompanying me on this tour. I hope you were able to get something out of it, as I have, to wit, Nikesh Shukla's book, Run Riot, shortlisted for the National Book Awards. Thank you, until next time.